Oi girls and boys and everything in between, it's Ace Trainer Liam, and I'm deciding to revisit a series that I did quite a while ago because it's actually been well over 2 years since I actually talked about this. So each week I'm going to go through each of the 18 Pokemon types and talk about which are my favorites. So I'm going to give you a top 10 of each type as an ongoing series because damn, it's been 2 years since I've talked about it. My opinions have changed. We had an entire new generation since then. It's definitely worth talking about. And of course, to get things started, I'm going to go and roll with one of the most common types in the Pokemon world, just an absolute staple of the Pokemon universe, and that is the normal type. Known for being only weak to fighting types and only immune to ghost types with no resistances and not super effective against anything, the normal type has been a part of the Pokemon world since the very beginning, and it's been such an important part. Whether it's a HM slave or just a generic Pokemon to fit into your team in the early stages of the game, everybody who's played through a Pokemon game has had a normal type on their team at some point and seen the benefit of them and seen what a great bunch of Pokemon they are. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to be running down my top 10 favorite normal type Pokemon, and then of course I'm going to give you my reasons for each of them. You may agree with them, you may disagree, I don't mind. Just let me know in the comments which are your favorite normal type Pokemon, and of course if you're enjoying the idea of me going through these again. It's been 2 years. It's so weird. I actually looked back. The last one that I did was fire types, and that was literally over 2 years ago. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing if my opinions have changed, to see if I don't like some Pokemon that I used to like, or if I like some Pokemon I used to dislike. So follow along, and here we go. First of all, my top 10 normal type Pokemon. Number 10, Drampa. But there we go. Already, brand new list, updated to include Generation 7, and we already have a Generation 7 Pokemon in the list, in the form of Drampa. Drampa, of course, just automatically, the first thing I think of when I see it is, that looks just like Falcor from Neverending Story. That's incredible. But not only that, it's just really freaking cool. It has the highest base special attack of all normal type Pokemon, tied with Porygon Z and Mega Pidgeot. Like, it has the same special attack stat as a Mega evolved version of Pidgeot. That's really cool. Not only that, it has an ability in the form of Berserk that can raise its special attack so it can be even stronger just by taking damage. I do get a little bit annoyed when people talk about Drampa because they're like, oh, it's supposed to be an evolution of Dunsparce, even though it's completely not. It's not even designed with Dunsparce in mind. It's based on a Zulong, which is a Chinese mythological creature that has the head of an elderly man and has the body of a dragon. That's why it's called Drampa, because it's a combination of dragon and grandpa. It just makes sense. It's nothing to do with Dunsparce. Dunsparce is irrelevant at this point. Drampa is what's now, and Drampa is what's cool, and I really do love this Pokemon. Number 9, Snorlax. Snorlax is the OG big boy. He is the big bruiser from Generation 1 and is just how can you have Pokemon without Snorlax? Snorlax is one of those really simple designs that you look at and you go, that looks like a Pokemon. If you show Snorlax to somebody and go, what game is this from? They'll go, Pokemon. If you say to someone, what anime is this from? They'll go, I don't know, is it Pokemon? Because Snorlax just looks like a Pokemon, and it's great. It's got great HP. It's got decent special defense and a great attack stat. Battle-wise, it's great. Just visually, it's great. How can you go wrong with a Snorlax? And it's played such an integral part of so many Pokemon games, blocking so many paths, blocking so many rivers in the anime. Snorlax, you're doing great. Never change. Number 8, Giraffe. Now granted, this is a Pokemon I didn't like when I first encountered it. When I first saw it, I was like, yeah, this Pokemon's fine, bit basic, doesn't even evolve, hasn't even got great stats really, but it's just one of those that over time has grown on me. I think I used it in a playthrough for a little bit, and I did catch a couple of them in Pokemon Go, and I just think it is a really nice design. I really like the idea that it has an extra brain in its tail, which kind of sometimes tries to take control. Plus it's adorable, it kind of looks like the giraffe that runs Toys R Us, rest in peace. Honestly, I can't go wrong with Giraffe, and I love the English language, and I love the fact that its name is a palindrome. You know, Giraffe, it reads forwards the same as backwards. And something else that I learned quite recently is that Kirinriki, which is the Japanese name for Giraffe, if you spell it in katakana, it actually reads the same forwards as backwards, which is really cool. So go and check out Kirinriki. I can't speak Japanese, clearly, but Giraffe, you're still a great Pokemon. I still love you, and you still deserve a place on this list. Number 7, Exploud. I'm a really big fan of sound-based Pokemon. I mean, my second favorite Pokemon of all time is Noivern that's tattooed on my back. Honestly, sound-based Pokemon are really cool because there's so much that you can do with sound, with things like sonar, with things just like there are ways to destroy things using only sound waves, and that's really, really incredible. And Exploud is literally the personification of that. It's a huge beast that just destroys things with the power of its voice. It takes in air through the organ pipes on its back and then blasts sound waves out of its mouth. It's so freaking cool, and it's terrifying to look at. On top of that, a lot of people like the dynamic of Magikarp not really having much potential and then Gyarados being like an absolute killing machine. Look at Whismur into Exploud. Whismur is this tiny little terrified, doesn't like anything kind of little weakling thing, and then it grows up and becomes this huge, intimidating, scary beast that is Exploud. It's a sight to behold, and it's such a great idea. It's such a great concept for it to go from being so shy and so scared to being so unwaveringly terrifying in itself. It's really great Pokemon. Cannot go wrong with Exploud. Well done, Game Freak. Number 6, Porygon 2. Now, I'm going to get some stick for this one because a lot of people like Porygon, a lot of people like Porygon Z, and will be like, why not Porygon Z? I just don't like the design of Porygon Z, whereas Porygon 2 looks amazing. It's a streamlined version of Porygon. It makes sense. It's been upgraded. I know that the reason that Porygon Z looks ridiculous is because it's like a corrupted version of Porygon 2. I get it. I don't care. I like Porygon 2. Porygon 2 is my bread and butter. It's great. Plus, you know, because Porygon Z exists, it means it can have Eviolite and be even bulkier than its later stage evolution and be just a better Pokemon all round, in my opinion. I much prefer Porygon 2 to Porygon Z. Again, it's cute. I like cute things. I'm very comfortable with who I am, so I don't care if people have a problem with me finding things cute. Porygon 2 is cute. It's effective. I've used a Porygon 2 in battle for a very long time, and I really love it as a Pokemon. You can't go wrong with it. It's just super duper cool. Number 5, Lickitung. Now, Lickitung, in my opinion, is a perfect Pokemon. It really is. Like, okay, its stats could be better, but in terms of overall Pokemon design, Licky didn't need to exist. Lickitung is just so well designed. It's just so perfect. There's literally nothing I would change about Lickitung. It does exactly what it says on the tin. It's responsible for so many great moments in the anime under the care of Jessie, and also it's responsible for the best ever minigame in the history of Pokemon in Pokemon Stadium. If you didn't like that Lickitung minigame, what is wrong with you? It was so much fun. Lickitung's just great. It has an amazing shiny as well. It goes from that pink color to that yellow color, and it works so perfectly. And I also like the fact that it keeps its tongue the right color, even though its body changes. That's a nice little touch, Game Freak. Thank you very much. But yeah, Lickitung is brilliant. The only thing I don't like about Lickitung is that it's really hard to find a decent plush of it. Like, the plushes all look really garish and terrifying, and I'm like, I just want Lickitung to look as cute as Lickitung does in its day-to-day life. Is that so much to ask? Number 4, Furret. Now, I know I say Furret sometimes, and a lot of people say Furret because it's just more comfortable to say in an English voice, but it is technically pronounced Furret because it's based on ferret. It just makes sense. It's just so adorable. This one's in the list just for being adorable. It's never going to be good in battle. Nobody ever says, hey, I won the World Championships with a Furret, do they? But it's just so cute. I love the stripes on it. I love the animation that it has now with its little paw shuffling thing. It's really, really cute. Really, really adorable. One of the cutest Pokemon out there. Not to mention, it's got a shiny that looks like a freaking candy cane. It was just designed to just absorb every ounce of manliness in me and just expel it out so that I can just swoon over this cute little adorable little ferret thing. Although I say little, it's like longer than my entire body, but other than that, it's just great. You can't fault Furret. It's alright, it's not good in battle though. I guess you can fault it there, but other than that, it's cute as hell, and that's all that matters. Number 3, Miltank. Now, Miltank's a major part of Pokemon lore in general because so many people as kids had problems with Whitney and her Miltank with Attract and roll out and stomp with flinching. And I think it had defense curl as well. I can't remember its last move, but I'm pretty sure it was defense curl, making it that little bit more difficult to beat. And I know a bunch of you in the comments are all going to give the bravado of, well, I never had a problem with Miltank because I played it when I was 12 and I'd already figured out the type differences by then, and all that garbage. No one cares if you beat Miltank the first time, right? The whole thing is that a majority of people found difficulty with Miltank in Generation 2, right? It doesn't matter. No one thinks you're cool for beating Miltank the first time. You're not getting laid for beating Miltank first time. So stop trying to be this big cool, oh, well, guess what I did? No one cares. All that matters is Miltank is an iconic part of the Pokemon universe because it was such a challenge to so many young players at the time of it coming out. It's just great. And not to mention, it is a great Pokemon. It looks cool. It's got a cool design, maybe one too many teats. But other than that, it's great. I really like Miltank. I think it's a great addition to the normal type repertoire. I mean, I say addition, it's been around for like 20 years, but it's great. What more did you want from a cow Pokemon, apart from the pre-evolution that ties it up to Tauros? But we'll get that one day. Don't worry. Number 2. Wigglytuff! Yeah, there, I did it. Are you happy? I did it. I did exactly what you want. That's all people want from me these days. It's just a quick Wigglytuff. That's all. That's it. That's my shtick now, apparently. But I love Wigglytuff. I've loved Wigglytuff for years. I've always preferred it to Jigglypuff. Like, a lot of people are like, but Jigglypuff's cuter. It's not. Wigglytuff is the cutest. It's got the bunny ears. It's bouncy. It's adorable. Again, it's not great in battle. You can use a Wigglytuff effectively if you really, really try, but its defenses are pretty garbage. You have to get really lucky with things like Cute Charm. It just doesn't work. It's just not a battler, but it's a great Pokemon to have around. It looks like something you could cuddle for days and you would never ever be unhappy. In fact, the reason that it's not a good battler over everything else is the reason it's not in the top spot, because the top spot is taken by something that is not only adorable but is good in battle as well. Number 1, Beware. Yes, we're finishing with another Gen 7 Pokemon because, oh my god, when I saw this in the trailers the first time, I was like, oh, that looks weird. But in actual fact, it turns out Beware is just one of the most brutal Pokemon in the world. It can crush bones. It just wants to hug people, but it can also destroy people's lives and squeeze out their souls, and it's just an absolute killing machine. It's just amazing. How can you go wrong? Look how adorable this Pokemon is. I know when it first came out, people made the pedo bear memes and stuff like that, but ultimately, it doesn't even look like Pedo Bear because, okay, other than the fact that it's a bear standing on 2 legs that has a cartoony style, not really any other similarities. I've never once seen Beware go, let's go chase some kids, you know? It's literally, Beware just wants to hug people, just wants to hold people and make them feel good, but at the same time can kill them with just a quick flinch. It's amazing. And it is decent in battle. Once you can breed Ice Punch onto it from, I think from Lopunny or Boneri, you can get Ice Punch onto it, or from Smeargle, you can just decimate with a Beware. It's great. It has that fluffy ability, which okay makes it weaker to fire types, but also gives it more physical bulk. It's great. Beware's fantastic, and I love it. And if I could have a full-size Beware plush that's just completely accurate, I'd be so happy. I swear one year I'm gonna get into cosplay and I'm gonna cosplay as Beware and it's gonna be the best thing ever. Maybe. A bit too warm. I get warm when I'm not in cosplay, so maybe not. But Beware has stolen my heart. It is my absolute favorite normal type, and since we're not getting Generation 8 for at least a year, so it's gonna be at least a couple of years before I even talk about my favorites of any type, because I need time to use them, Beware, you've got a solid spot on this list. Pride of place, number 1 for a very, very long time. So that was my list of my top 10 favorite normal types. Make sure you let me know your list of your top 10 favorite normal types in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe just to help out the channel in general. If you'd like to support the channel like these guys down there do, you can support me on Patreon. The link's in the description. But until next time, I'm Ace Trainer Liam. Keep on training.